The Cessna 208 Caravan is a single-engine turboprop, short-haul regional airliner and utility aircraft. It can be fitted with an underslung cargo pod. The aircraft is powered by a single Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6A engine and has a fixed tricycle landing gear. The prototype first flew on the 9th of December 1982. Parking brake. Set. Switches. Off. Ignition. Normal. The ignition switch has two positions, on and normal. In the normal position, the ignition system is armed, and ignition will start when the start switch is placed in the start position. The on position provides continuous ignition regardless of the starter switch position. Fuel tank selectors. On. The fuel tank selectors control the two fuel tank shutoff valves for the respective engine. In the on position, fuel flows from the tank to the fuel reservoir. In normal operation, both tanks are on. Bleed air heat. Off. The bleed air heat switch controls the bleed air flow control valve. In the on position, the valve is open and hot bleed air flows to the cabin heating system. In the off position, the valve is closed. Cabin heat mixing air control. Flight. When pushed in, the control is in the flight position. Cabin return air is mixed with hot compressor outlet air, maintaining the desired temperature. The flight position can be used on the ground when ambient temperatures are mild. When pulled out, the control is in the ground position. In cold ambient conditions, warm compressed bleed air augments hot compressor outlet bleed air when NG is below 89%. Emergency power lever. Normal. The emergency power lever governs fuel supply to the engine if a pneumatic malfunction occurs in the fuel control unit. The normal position is used for normal engine operation. The range from idle to maximum governs engine power when the power lever is not effective. Power lever. Idle. The power lever controls engine power from maximum takeoff power through idle and into full reverse. The idle to maximum range sets the desired power output. After the idle position, the beta range controls propeller blade pitch from idle thrust through a no thrust condition to maximum reverse thrust. Propeller control lever. Maximum. The propeller control lever controls propeller governor settings from the maximum RPM position to full feather. The maximum position is used when high RPM is desired. Propeller speed is governed at 1900 RPM. The minimum to maximum settings are used to select the desired RPM for cruise. The feather position is used during normal engine shutdown. Fuel condition lever. Cut off. The fuel condition lever controls the minimum RPM of the gas generator turbine when the power lever is in the idle position. In the cut-off position, fuel is shut off from the engine fuel nozzles. 52% NG is provided in the low idle position and 65% in the high idle position. Fuel shut-off on. The fuel shut-off push-pull control is used to shut off fuel flow from the reservoir to the engine. Battery on. Battery power is now supplied to the two general buses. Wing flaps up. Cabin signs on. Annunciator panel day/night set. Volt/ammeter, check 24 volts minimum. Fuel boost on and observe. Auxiliary pump on annunciator on. Fuel pressure low annunciator off. No fuel flow. Starter start and observe. Ignition on annunciator on. Engine oil pressure check for indication. NG stable 12% minimum. Fuel condition lever low idle and observe. Fuel flow check for 80 to 110 pounds per hour. ITT 1090 Celsius for 2 seconds maximum. NG 52% minimum. Starter off. Engine instruments check. Generator check generator off annunciator off and battery charging. Fuel boost normal. Check auxiliary fuel pump on annunciator off. In the normal position, the auxiliary boost pump is armed and operates when fuel pressure drops below 4.75 psi. Avionics number 1 and 2 power on. The avionics power switches control electrical power from the power distribution bus to the avionics buses. Nav and beacon on. Suction gauge check. The suction gauge indicates suction available for operation of the attitude and directional indicators. The desired suction range is 4.5 to 5.5 inches of mercury up to 15,000 feet, 4.0 to 5.5 from 15,000 to 20,000 feet, and 3.5 to 5.5 from 20,000 to 25,000 feet. The 15, 20, 25 and 30,000 markings indicate the altitude at which the lower limit of that arc segment is acceptable. A suction reading out of these ranges may indicate a system malfunction or improper adjustment. Cabin heating, ventilating, and defrosting controls as desired. The temperature and volume of airflow to the cabin is regulated by the cabin heating, ventilating, and defrosting system. In the heating system, hot compressor outlet air is routed from the engine and mixed with cabin return air or warm air from the compressor bleed valve, depending on the setting of the mixing air valve, creating the correct air temperature before routing the air to the cabin air distribution system. Ventilating air is distributed from a plenum chamber located in the center of the cabin top to individual overhead outlets at each seat position. Radios as required. We are now ready to taxi to the active runway. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.